Well, I did my regional breakdown, obviously, all the regions, Southwest, East, Midwest, all four regions breakdowns. I'll put the link down in the description. See, I would do bracketology 101, but here's my problem. Like, I suck at brackets, so I can't give you advice, and then if you fuck up, you're gonna hit me in the face. So, I'm not gonna give bracket advice, because mine's always get busted. And I've been doing this for so many years now, and I haven't had a good bracket, so figure it out. So, let's get to it. Final four picks in San Antonio, March 31st. I'm gonna pick the Arizona I almost said Arizona Cardinals, my bad. Arizona Wildcats versus the University of North Carolina Tar Heels. I think the Tar Heels, they've shown some defensive lapses from time to time. If you watch their games, you watch their film, I feel like there's certain places where you can attack their defense. Also, me personally, there's no one on that court who's going to guard DeAndre Ayton. I keep reiterating this a lot. DeAndre Ayton and Ristich are a good 7-foot combo. Both guys pass each other the ball. They got Raleigh Alkins, who obviously had that great dunk against Elijah Stewart. Raleigh Alkins is a good guard as well. Puts it together. Jackson Cartwright's pretty good. So they have all these solid players who can back him up. Also, Ayton, double-double machine. He's probably going to get 20-20 if they let him go off. Obviously, I don't think UNC has a body to match Ayton. So, I think Arizona, this is going to be a very close, competitive game. Obviously, if you watched UNC last year, they had a little bit trouble with Jordan Bell, who had 9 blocks. They almost lost to Oregon. So, this year, they're gonna face probably a more skilled big man in DeAndre Ayton, and I think they're going to lose to DeAndre Ayton. I think Arizona Wildcats will defeat UNC. Arizona Wildcats will have the South representative and the West representative, the North Carolina Tar Heels. And I think Arizona Wildcats are going to win and advance the national championship on April 2nd in San Antonio. So that's that part of that. And the East representative, the Purdue Boilermakers versus the Duke Blue Devils. So, like I said, I think Duke is very young, the freshman team. So I can see why people have their doubts about Duke. And I honestly, it's a coin flip between them and Michigan State. Me personally, I see a team like Michigan State, maybe a year away, maybe next year they come, still have Miles Bridges, possibly, they could come and win. I just don't, this year, I don't see it. Not this year. I just think this is the year for Duke to get it done. So I see Coach K playing well, coaching well in this game. Here's the problem. I think, like I said earlier, Purdue's guards, Carson Edwards, Isaac Haas, their style, the way they play is perfectly fit for the tournament. The problem I have with Duke, I think what happened, my friend said this the other day, and I think we won't catch up to Duke until they play this game, and I think it's going to be the zone defense. I think Isaac Haas and Carson Edwards are really going to be a good combo in this game. I think they're going to kill the other guys. I think what's going to happen is Duval's going to get in foul trouble. I think Bagley's not going to have the game he's going to have because Isaac Haas is going to counter him. And I also think what's going to happen is Grayson Allen's not really going to have that game where it's that signature game. I feel like there's one game that Duke's going to be off. It's going to be this game, and I think it will happen against Purdue because Purdue has a personnel defensively, and Purdue offensively also has very good personnel. So I think Purdue Boilermakers will beat the Duke Blue Devils in San Antonio and advance to the national championship on April 2nd. Okay, so you got the Arizona national championship projection. You got the Arizona Wildcats versus the Purdue Boilermakers. So I'm gonna run this down. Ayton versus Haas. I honestly wanted them to both be in the same region. That would have been a lot of fun. Ayton is a huge, great player. Haas is also a huge, great player. Both teams have good guards. Both teams are almost equal. But here's what I'm gonna say about Arizona. I think their guards from time to time tend to choke, so I will not be surprised if Arizona loses earlier, because I picked Arizona before to come this far, and they have choked before our eyes to Wisconsin. Wisconsin was a good team that year. I'll give them credit. But I feel like Arizona, for the type of program they have, Sean Miller, they need a little bit of redemption. They obviously screwed him over with the 4 seed because of the FBI probe. They kind of want to screw Sean Miller over, which I totally get. Because Sean Miller sort of showed the middle finger to the NCAA by doing that whole NCAA FBI probe thing, wiretapping crap. But I don't think any of that's going to matter. It's going to be a huge headline in this game. But I don't think it's going to matter in terms of who plays and who sort of who sort of dictates this game. So I think what's going to happen is Ayton and Haas are going to go head-to-head. So I think that matchup is a wash. Ayton isn't going to be a mismatch like he always is to pretty much every other team I think he's going to play in the tournament. And I think the guards are also going to be a wash. So I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Purdue's guards pull it out because I feel like this one's going to come down to guard play, and I think Purdue has a slightly better guard play than Arizona does. Arizona has a very, very good guard play, but not the greatest. So I just don't think I think Arizona's going to choke in this game, I feel like, late in the game. I think Arizona's going to go up early. Ayton's going to be rolling. They're going to have all the momentum. They're going to have the stadium going. But I think what's going to happen come second half is I think Purdue's going to use their nice little balanced tempo guards, Isaac Haas, and I think Purdue's going to come back and sort of surprise them a little bit, catch them off guard. I think this game will come back to the final whistle, come down to the final whistle. I don't know if it'll be a buzzer beater like the Chris Jenkins one a couple years ago, but I think it'll be pretty close to that. I think it'll be pretty close to it in terms of excitement. I don't think it'll ever beat that one, but I think it'll come pretty close. It could come down to like the last shot. And I think what's going to happen is Purdue's going to win by 4. I think Isaac Haas is going to hit like a little jump hook, and he's going to make it, and they're going to win the national championship. I think Purdue's a really good program. They've shown for many years that they're a solid team, and I think this is Purdue's year to get it done, because I think Purdue is a team that has the complete package in the NCAA tournament this year, and I think they're the only team that have the complete package in the NCAA tournament. So I am picking the Purdue Boilermakers in this field of 68 with all of these matchups to win the national championship and take the crown in NCAA Men's Division I championship. So here's what I think. I have a couple of additional thoughts. I want the selection show to completely change next year and go back to the old format. The new one they had was completely garbage. I don't know why they did it. It was terrible. Nobody liked it. Viewership hated it. Everybody hated it. It went fast. They put the field out. Obviously, I know they leaked the bracket last year, but that's because they were bullshitting last year. This year, I feel like they could have done way better with this format. Audio and video, like I said earlier, in one of my videos, wasn't synced. How are you going to get viewers to tune in if your audio isn't synced? What? That's a fucking executive fail by TBS. So move it back to CBS. Let them do their thing. They've been doing a good job for many, many years. So let CBS do it. TBS ain't gonna do shit. So obviously I know contract studio was nicer. I'll give them that. Whatever. But you have nicer studio, but whacker seats. Whatever. Another note I would like to add. There are a lot of upsets that are happening that I've projected, and a lot of upsets that will happen that I won't project because it's March Madness. So I feel like you got to keep an eye on certain teams. Obviously, my advice to you guys is don't look at any bracketology. Bracketology is just not going to work in this. Experts are going to say whatever they're going to say, but it's just not going to work because I feel like in March Madness, the craziness is amped up. So it's just going to be crazy, and I think it's going to be wacky. And so that's why I went a little wacky this year. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to go all wacky this year. See what happens. It's not the 12th year doing this. And I still haven't got a good bracket. So we'll see what happens. It's always intriguing in terms of how the teams play and stuff. And you always love this time of year. There's always college basketball on. And, after this NBA playoff. So it's pretty much like a good setup. You know what I mean? Like it's a good sports month. And obviously NFL free agency going on as well. So you got a bunch of storylines all over the place floating everywhere. Which is cool because you like to see sports at a high. And it's right now, it's very good. It's very entertaining. It's nice to watch. Also, some snubs. Nebraska was a snub. Won 13 conference games, 23-10. I really thought they would make it. I knew they wouldn't put them in because of the conference, but I had a belief before that I thought they would make it because they're a very good team, solid team. Big Ten is obviously declining, but Nebraska did what it needed to do, and 23 wins is pretty solid. I obviously should have gotten in. USC Trojans should have gotten in over UCLA. I think the committee valued the win over Arizona. I think maybe if USC had won the Pac-12, they would be an obviously automatic bid. But if USC had beaten maybe one more ranked team, if they had beat Texas A&M, I think USC would have been in. I feel like USC should have been in either way, but I think USC was a major snub. I think the reason St. Mary's should have been in because St. Mary's beat Gonzaga once. Gonzaga's not a shabby team. Gonzaga's one of the nation's best. So St. Mary's should have been in just because they beat Gonzaga 28-5. They always have a solid year. Baylor, I think they deserve to be out. 14 losses is too much. I don't think Alabama deserved to be in, but I think they're going to make some noise in this tournament. Syracuse didn't deserve to be in. I think they could make some. They will make some noise. I think some of the teams that didn't deserve to be in will make some noise. I don't think Texas deserved to be in. Texas, they're kind of shaky. I don't think they really won too many games. Just not that much of a good team product for them. But I mean, whatever. Just put in whoever you fucking want to, committee. But I think those are the main. I don't think Oklahoma should have been. I like Trae Young. I like the kid. Oklahoma didn't do enough. They were terrible, and I just like a freaking 10 seed for Oklahoma, 13-loss team, completely snubbed everybody else. That was a slap in the face. Obviously, there are a lot of coaches out there thinking they would have made it. Tim Miles came out. Andy Enfield came out. Shocked and surprised. Lots of snubs. But that's good. That's bad, actually. I think the NCAA needs to look into that, and they need to try and fix the bracket. Obviously, there's always going to be snubs, but I feel like these were like huge snubs given the criteria. So you got to look at games down late and like conference play as well. And I think the committee just said fuck it this year. And it was more than usual because some teams they don't deserve to be in. But this year there were some teams that clearly deserve to be in over other teams, and they still got in. I feel like some of it's program pedigree. They want to see other guys in there. They want to see good teams in there. So sometimes they fuck up other teams' chances. I mean, obviously Notre Dame also had a case. I would give them a case. ACC was tough, so you can't put too many teams in there. But, yeah, I think it was just, like, the case of the committee sort of just being like, we don't want this team in. Personal opinion. I don't think you can do that with the type of job the personal committee, the college basketball committee has. But it's okay. It's okay. So, yeah, these are my picks for March Madness. And I hope it turns out to be a really good March Madness. Lots of fun. Lots of intrigue. That's how basketball works. I love it. It's fun. It just has to be. If it's not, it's not worth the watch, right? So we'll see what happens. Obviously, all these regions, all this stuff going on. So we will see how March Madness plays out this year. It will be exciting and fun, and look out for a lot of upsets. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Be interesting.